back to State of the Nation. Data feeds still coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms, channelstv.com, youtube.com/channels, where you can check them out. Also follow the show. Use the hashtag State of the Nation and tweet at me. It's at Gimba Umar CTV. And let your thoughts be heard. I'm still in the studio with Timothy Liman, a one-time presidential aspirant in the 2007 elections. Just before we went on the break, the question I'm asking you is that, do you suppose that Mr. President's economic team would have done something differently coming on board in 2015 to, of course, try to manage the situations of rot in the system, hidden inflation, and what have you?
It's not really about economic team. You know, when it comes to running a nation, it goes beyond economic teams. Like this, the problem we have right now, as I've explained, these are not rocket science. It's known. Every person that you interview will tell you, how can this country go out of the recession when you only export, crude in a mono-product-based economy? So the reality is this, and it's not new. There's no rocket science. The reality is that every single country has what you call a comparative advantage. It's when you now look at what is it I as in Nigeria has that other nations require. For the meantime, whether or not we like it, is oil and gas. It's the finest oil and gas and what they call straight run. Most of the countries' industrial economies are very close by, through a straight sea lane. So I'm speaking to you right now, we've not been able to optimize that. So the only thing that it's by 1 year in office, one would have expected that a former commissioner for petroleum, His Excellency Buhari, would have taken concrete steps, put his feet on the ground and said, I insist on having domestic refineries, about 10, 15 of them in the 6 or 7 geopolitical zones, and it's possible. You have new technologies coming in. Once you do that, immediately you will crush the cost of energy by a factor of over 60%. The cost of food production will come down, the cost of transportation will come down. It will now ginger the economy. Why a lot of people referring to the Jonathan era is because during that time there was a lot of peace and quiet there, and you could sell even the crude as it was. But most importantly, the cost of energy, even though it was subsidized, a lot of abuses here and there, the cost of energy was relatively not relatively, to a significant extent, very, very low. So that enabled a lot of activities, economic activities taking place. So one of the key things that Mr. President has to do are the short-term measures that will now create that popular, sentiment that a lot of people had supported him, so that most of these long gestation projects, he can take them, God willing, if he happens to come back in the second time. Now I see programs, that will take 10, 15 years. Nigerians are not talking about 10, 15 years. They're talking about what programs are you going to have today, now, that will now bring them out of this. One
of such programs, though, is looking into the Niger Delta and trying to negotiate.
Absolutely, very important.
Negotiate with them. It's a human factor there. They're trying to fix that. Do you suppose that the government, in fixing the troubles in the Niger Delta, are able to secure security fully in the Niger Delta region?
It's involvement.
You know that there are factions.
It's not about factions, it's about involvements. You still have community leaders that the militants listen to. You still have, people of respect. And there are genuine grievances that you could see the recent, I think, TV program that you had, I think, on the channel television, going there to interview the people in the Ogoni because of the effort being made by His Excellency to clean up the place. You could see happiness. You can see but a situation where multinationals and most of these oil companies come and then fret out all this critical element, and as if nothing matters in that community, does not harbor well for the long-term development of that community and the nation at large. So it is in the best interest of the nation, the community, the international oil companies to sit down to address this issue once and for all. And again, one important thing about oil investment is not a today spot sales investment. It's 25 years investment, long gestation period investment, so that you can now have an opportunity for you to recoup your investments, the kind of funds that you put in that place. So if you are going to have a 25-year project, it means inevitably that you are going to involve the community for the next 25 years. It also means inevitably those people that are going to bring in their foreign exchange will have contractual guarantees beyond the Buhari administration. And so therefore the kind of legal safeguards in terms of contractual safeguards are absolutely key. And they must be factored in what you might even call treaty obligations, something that is so serious that the next administration will just not wake up one fine morning and say, we are nationalizing or we are appropriating this particular.
There's always been a problem of a policy and a policy change and government change.
Exactly.
So do you suppose that President Buhari's policies are likely to change if it's not the president after maybe 4 years or 8 years?
He has the political capital, he has the goodwill of the world community, and everybody talks about His Excellency as Mr. Transparent. This is a golden opportunity for him to sit down, plan a program that is going to integrate the oil and gas community to see a long-term development. And mind you, you cannot continue relying on the oil and gas after you've optimized it, forward and backward integration, going into shipping, going into even the downstream sectors, going into pipeline business, and making sure that you have your pumping stations, even in advanced countries, in neighboring countries and all that. Once you're able to get substantial amount of money from that, you must diversify into others. Solid minerals, agriculture, tourism, music, and all these other things, so that at the end of the day, you have a diversified portfolio that you can rely on as a nation.
Interesting. Let's talk more about the proposed swap of the Chibok girls. I'm looking at that from this point on, and we're getting information that one Aisha Wakil had indeed told the government that she could bring the leaders of Boko Haram to sit with the government and negotiate the release of these girls. The government is already towing this part as we speak, and the outcome is what everybody is really interested in getting. Will the government get through, and will this stop the insurgency in the northeast?
Well, you see, first of all, I have my reservation that one single woman has the capacity to, be the one that will talk to an organization that has been creating so much havoc, an organization that has tremendous amount of firepower, but for the intervention of the Buhari administration that had caused a lot of havoc in this country. So for somebody to say that an Aisha Lawal is the one that is going to serve as a nexus between the Nigerian government and Boko Haram, to me seems...
it's a huge joke?
It's not a joke, but it's a possibility that she has a link, but that's not enough. You need a very strong, guarantee, institutional guarantee, both from the side of which, like the administration keeps on saying, if I'm to negotiate with who? So far no person has come out to say in a serious term that this is the leadership of that Boko Haram. Even the Shekau that hitherto had been proclaiming himself as a leader.
He's been killed.
He's been killed, and tomorrow he appears again, like a film actor in another different form and all that kind of thing. So it's absolutely important the government now knows precisely who are the people. Luckily for the country, I learned of recent there's a split within the
ranks of the
Boko Haram. So perhaps now that will give an opportunity for the president to provide olive leaf to those that are genuinely wishing to reintegrate into the mainstream. Because the other group appears to say that they've been hoodwinked and they've been, carrying out obnoxious killing human beings, and that's not what the ideal was all about.
It really is a bad deal to negotiate with terrorists.
No, it's not really a bad deal. Sometimes, unfortunately, the expediency of the situation is such that, there are no winners. You've seen it in antiquity, in history, and even in recent history, where you have swaps taking place between, the Arab Israelis. You have swap even taking place between Taliban and the U.S. Administration. You have swap taking place between the IRA and even the Tony Blair administration and all that kind of thing. It depends on the specific cases. The best people that will give you an opportunity to see who are the real people to negotiate are the intelligence community. And I'm sure the Nigerian intelligence community, both interior and exterior, working with their counterparts, would have had real concrete information as to who are the real, the power levers within that insurgency sector to see that they could do the negotiation. If that is possible, and there is a guarantee that, look, they have all the opportunity to lay down their arms without the government later on rescinding its decision as to give them the amnesty, then it becomes possible for this. But the sooner that is done, for the benefit of the lives of these Chibok girls and the lives of the community, the better. The sooner it is done, the better.
I want to ask you a very short question,
yes,
and I need a very short answer in just a few seconds. You've been in politics. Are you out of politics?
You can't be out of politics. This is politics. Politics is community engagement to see that you better the life of the community, to reach out to a larger society. So anybody saying he is out of politics is somebody who has been given an opportunity to impact positively on the community and has refused to do that. That's unfortunate.
Galtima Liman, one-time presidential aspirant in the general elections in Nigeria in 2007. I want to thank you so much indeed for talking to us on State of the Nation and precisely looking at the economy as it stands today. When we return after this break, we'll be talking to Major General Rogers Nicholas, Commander Operation Safe Havens in Jos, the Plateau State capital, where tricycles have been banned from moving from beyond 7 o'clock in the evening. Join us again. Welcome back to State of the Nation. Let's talk about Jos, the Plateau State capital, and the security situation in that state, in the middle of the country, the middle belt to be specific. There has been concerns, though, that tricycle riders have been creating discomfort and mayhem to residents of Plateau State. Let's quickly join Major General Rogers Nicholas. He's the Commander of Operation Safe Haven. He talks to us from Jos. I want to thank you so much indeed for joining us on State of the Nation. What latest information do you have about the tricycle riders? We understand that there is a ban for them from operating beyond 7 o'clock in the evening. What's the status now?
Yeah, thank you very much, Gimba. The situation is all encompassing to ensure that security is built around Jos. Right now, when I came in, I observed that most of the riders, that's KK people, were actually the agents of movement of carrying people, couriering weapons and ammunition, and also carrying criminals within the town, and snatching bags and so many things, kidnapping and other things. So what I did was to call the association and have a talk with them and explain to them the situation, and then also requesting that we must put a ban beyond 9 o'clock in the night. So from 9 in the night till 5 a.m. in the morning, there's a ban on KK. And within the few days that I put this, I've been able to achieve a lot. The rate of crime within the Jos metropolis has actually reduced. Minor crimes, robbery within the town has actually reduced. Even though there are pains within it, but I explained to the people that it's going to be for a while. It's for us to establish peace in Plateau, which is more paramount to everybody and for the benefit of everybody.
One of the biggest concerns in Jos are the hilly nature of the topography of Jos, the Plateau State capital. And at some points we had insurgents or terrorists, if you call it, if you will, coming through the hills. Does this in any way, does your Operation Safe Haven, are you able to guard the circumference, if you will, of Jos, the Plateau State capital, to prevent entry of terrorists into that place?
Yes, all the entrance to Jos, we have checkpoints at all the entrances in Jos. We have multiple checkpoints as you come into Jos. And these checkpoints, as you're entering this checkpoint, you are stopped and searched. We try to identify people in the vehicles. We search the vehicles for weapons and ammunition and other weapons that could endanger people's lives. We also have meetings, town hall meetings, with community leaders, religious leaders, and youth leaders within the various communities to establish a relationship that will also bring up information flow and intelligence flow to the task force. When I came in, what I adopted with the people-centric approach, whereby we meet severally with various communities, have a town hall meeting, have village hall meeting, have under-tree meeting with leaders in the various remote areas, all in the name of making sure that we safeguard the people, we get the people talking, building confidence, building trust within the various communities. That's really what we're doing.
Fantastic, beautiful. I want to thank you so much indeed, Major General Nicholas Rogers, Commander Operation Safe Haven, for talking to us from Jos, the Plateau State capital, and telling us an update on the situation, the security situation, of course, there. I want to thank you so much indeed, and to you as well for being part of the show. I'm Gimba Umar, and bye for now.